don't end up paying Brandon Aiyuk. I think a player that has really stood out so far and that we know had his best season in his contract year is Deebo Samuel. Do you think that it's possible that there's kind of like a, you know, battle of who's, the best wide receiver on this team next year, which might be great for the 49ers, but also could be negative because what if one of the players feels like a certain player is getting targeted more? And then, something we've always seen and congratulated this team for is like non-selfishness. What if all of a sudden you see Brandon Aiyuk, kind of throwing a little bit more tantrums, maybe acting out towards Brock if Brock is favoriting a certain guy, one game rather than the other. We've definitely known, depending on the defenses, it's usually going to be, more of a Deebo CMC game versus more of an Aiyuk game, depending on how good is their secondary, how good is their front four, stuff like that. And I think initially my thought is like if they're both unpaid, it's like wow, it's going to be these two stars playing at the top of their game, but that could get side eye very quick. I know they're really good friends, so maybe it wouldn't be taken out on each other, but just out on the team. Is that something you have considered?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought of that before. I think the 49ers would look at the situation in a positive way. Like, yeah, we got two guys basically competing for the next extension or to stay on the team beyond 2024, right? Which from the competition standpoint, that's good. Like the 49ers love competition and all this stuff. And I mean, you see time and time again, like players having incredible seasons when they're on a contract year, right? So I think the 49ers could certainly bet on that. It wouldn't hurt. At the same time, you bring up some points. It could also go south. Like if there is any tension at any point between those two or wide receivers to the quarterback, let's just imagine Brandon Aiyuk isn't happy with the targets that he gets from Brock Purdy, and it causes a rift between him and Brock Purdy during a season where, like you said, we're trying to get this Super Bowl here in 2024 is a really good window here with this core. So I think that's a risk, right? It's a risk that could reap some rewards, but it's like any risk could also backfire on you, and it could present some issues as far as the locker room. So I think the 49ers need to tread a little carefully on that. At the same time, though, I mean, they have Ricky Pearsall, who, they can hedge their bets with him as well, because if he ends up looking like how he's been reported to have looked so far this offseason in the season, then they're going to feel great about that as well. And then they're going to be like, hey, maybe we don't need Brandon Aiyuk after all. So I still think that in the back of their minds, the 49ers would prefer to kick the can down the road and just have Brandon Aiyuk play on the fifth-year option. But again, with Brandon Aiyuk pushing the issue here, I don't know if that option is going to be as easy for them to get going.